It was an ordinary morning at the office until a sleek black Rolls-Royce pulled up outside the towering glass building, and a strange, heavy silence swept through the lobby. No one had ever seen the mysterious new owner, but the whispers were everywhere. Ruthless, brilliant, powerful, a self-made billionaire who rose from nothing. As the elevator door slid open, a pair of polished shoes stepped out, followed by the flow of a custom-tailored black suit and the gleam of a luxury watch catching the morning light. No face was visible. Upstairs, Maya laughed with her coworkers, sipping her coffee like any other day, until the office door creaked open. She turned casually and froze. Her smile vanished. The cup slipped from her hand and crashed to the floor. Her eyes widened in pure disbelief, as if a ghost from the past had walked in, because standing there, in complete silence, was the man she had rejected 5 years ago, the one she once mocked for being too poor for her. And now, he owned the very building she worked in. 5 years ago, Daniel wasn't the man people feared or admired. He was just a quiet boy with dreams too big for his wallet. Every day, he walked 3 miles to the university, wearing worn-out sneakers and a backpack stitched together more times than he could count. But in his eyes, you could see something rare, a stubborn kind of hope. He didn't have money, he didn't have connections, but what he did have was love. And all of it was for Maya. Maya wasn't just beautiful, she was magnetic. The kind of girl people looked at twice, not because of her clothes or makeup, but because she walked like the world already belonged to her. She came from a modest background, but she carried herself like royalty, ambitious, fierce, confident. And Daniel, he was invisible to most people, but not to her. At least, not in the beginning. They had shared group projects, small conversations. He'd once helped her fix her laptop in the library. She had smiled at him then, not out of pity, but something real. At least he thought so. And that's all it took. For Daniel, it became something bigger. He stayed late after class just for the chance to walk by her. He skipped meals to save for a small gift. And on one particular sunny afternoon, with a single rose in his hand and courage burning in his chest, he decided it was time. He waited outside the building, pacing, heart pounding like a drum inside his ribs. When he saw her coming, with her friends, laughing and tossing her hair, everything else faded. The world went silent. He stepped forward. "Maya," he said, voice shaking, "can I talk to you for a second?" She stopped. Her friends slowed too, curious. She looked at him, confused at first, then amused. "Sure," she said, half smiling. Daniel handed her the rose. His voice cracked slightly. "I know I don't have much, but I've been working hard, and I just wanted you to know I care about you. Genuinely. I'd be honored if—" She burst out laughing. Not a giggle, not a kind, embarrassed laugh, but a loud, cruel laugh, the kind that stabs deeper than any knife. Her friends joined in, one of them whispering, "Is he serious?" "Daniel," Maya said, folding her arms, "do you even hear yourself? Look at you. You think someone like me would ever be with someone like you?" The rose trembled in his hand. "You have nothing. No car, no future, no money. You don't even own proper shoes. Stop dreaming. It's embarrassing." She pushed the rose back into his chest, turned around, and walked off, heels clicking, friends snickering. Daniel stood there, frozen. The entire courtyard felt like it had eyes, watching, judging, mocking. And then he smiled. Not out of joy, not out of courage, but out of a painful, powerful awakening. "One day," he whispered under his breath, "you'll remember this moment, and so will I." He didn't cry, he didn't scream, he simply turned around and walked away. That was the day Daniel disappeared from campus, from everyone's memory. But he didn't vanish into nothingness, he vanished into becoming something. In the days that followed, rumors spread. Some said he moved back to his village, others said he gave up and left the country. No one really knew. Maya forgot about him within a week. Life moved on. Exams came, parties happened, internships opened up. Maya found herself in a comfortable rhythm, climbing the corporate ladder, dating guys with nice cars and shiny futures. She never thought about that poor boy with the rose again. But Daniel thought about her every single night. He worked at gas stations, slept in internet cafes, taught himself coding at midnight, sold secondhand phones and built websites for pennies. No one saw the hunger inside him. No one saw the rejection that played on repeat in his head. "You have nothing, no future." He turned those words into fuel. When he failed, he worked harder. When he was mocked, he listened, then learned. 2 years later, he launched a small digital platform that helped local businesses manage their clients online. It was small, ugly even, but functional. Within 6 months, an investor noticed it. Within 1 year, it became a trend. Within 3 years, it was worth millions. And now, 5 years later, he was standing outside a building Maya had worked in for 2 years. Only now, he owned it. Daniel vanished from everyone's radar the day Maya crushed his heart, but he didn't vanish into silence. He vanished into grit. No family backup, no fancy connections, just a mind full of ambition and a heart carrying every word she said like a wound he refused to let heal. The first year was brutal. He slept in friends' basements and internet cafes, places that charged by the hour, not by the night. He ate cheap instant noodles or skipped meals altogether. Some nights he went to bed hungry. Other nights he didn't sleep at all. His first job was sweeping floors at a tech repair shop. Not glamorous, not impressive, but it gave him something more valuable than money: access to computers. After hours, when the shutters closed, he'd sit quietly at a broken desk and teach himself. YouTube, free PDFs, borrowed logins to online coding courses. He failed, again and again, but every failure taught him something. While others went to clubs and shared weekend selfies, Daniel stared at screens deep into the night, learning lines of code and business models. For 2 straight years, he kept building small digital tools. Most failed, some got a few downloads, nothing impressive. Then came a small idea, a simple tool to help local businesses, plumbers, electricians, tailors, schedule their appointments online and collect payments. He called it Local Bridge. No funding, no PR, just grit and emails, hundreds of emails, cold calls, rejections. But a few businesses tried it, and they liked it. Within 3 months, 27 small businesses were using it. 6 months in, a minor tech blog wrote about it. That article changed everything. Investor 1 came in, offered $20,000 for a 10% stake, then Investor 2, this time 6 figures. By the end of year 3, Daniel had a small office, a growing team, and Local Bridge was used in 4 countries. He was only 25. But Daniel wasn't done. He wasn't driven by success, he was driven by memory. The rejection, the rose, the way she had looked at him as if he was worth less than nothing. "You have no future," he whispered to himself every time he faced a challenge. "Watch me." By year 4, Local Bridge became a startup sensation. Incubators, investors, international panels. Daniel's name was listed in a top 30 under 30 tech list. The boy who once borrowed bus fare now had meetings in London, Dubai, and New York. Yet he remained invisible. He never bragged, never posted, because for Daniel, the goal wasn't fame, it was closure. And he knew it was getting closer. One rainy evening, as he sipped black coffee in his penthouse overlooking the city, he received an email. Just another business acquisition, one of many. But as he scrolled through the PDF and saw the name of the company, Nova Core Marketing Private Limited, his eyes stopped. He remembered it. He remembered her. It was the company Maya had joined as a junior executive 3 years ago. He hadn't thought of her in a while, or maybe he thought of her every day without realizing it. And now, he just signed a deal to buy 87% of it. He stared out the window for a long time, not with revenge, but with a calmness, a stillness that only people who've outgrown pain ever feel. 2 weeks later, the official announcement came. New ownership transfer, Novacore Marketing under new CEO, Daniel Malik. The employees were shocked. Even the board hadn't seen it coming, but no one had seen him yet. Rumors swirled. He's young. He's a tech genius. He's dangerous in a boardroom. But no photo, no social media, just a name that Maya hadn't heard in 5 years. When Maya saw the memo, she chuckled at first. Daniel Malik? That name sounds familiar. She shrugged it off. But as the day of the CEO's arrival approached, tension built. Security was tightened. Staff were told to be on time. The offices were polished like it was Judgment Day. And Maya? She did what she always did. She laughed it off until she couldn't. Because what was walking toward her was everything she once threw away. A soft chime echoed through the polished marble lobby of Novacore Marketing as the elevator doors opened. Every employee stood a little straighter, eyes turned, phones went silent. He stepped out, sharp black suit, impeccably tailored, silver watch glinting beneath a cuff, leather briefcase in one hand. Calm, composed, eyes focused. But it wasn't his wealth or presence that stopped people in their tracks. It was something deeper, something unspoken, power. The kind you don't inherit, the kind you build with fire, blood, and heartbreak. Upstairs, Maya laughed with 2 coworkers in the break room. She scrolled her phone lazily, sipping a cold latte. She hadn't noticed the tension in the air, not yet. Her colleague nudged her. "The new CEO's here." "So what?" Maya replied, half smiling. "Another arrogant rich guy with a shiny car. Watch, he'll probably give some dramatic speech about innovation." They laughed. She didn't realize her world was about to crack. The boardroom. The company's executives sat, neatly lined like chess pieces. All eyes were fixed on the door. Daniel entered. He didn't smile. He didn't speak immediately. He simply placed his briefcase on the table, opened it slowly, and slid out a stack of files. "Let's begin." His voice was calm, smooth, but cold. Every word landed with weight. He moved through strategy, marketing flaws, and expansion ideas like a surgeon. Precise, focused, brutal. By the end of the meeting, no one doubted who was in charge. Still, no one recognized him, except for the receptionist downstairs, an older woman who squinted long after he passed by, whispering, "Why does he look so familiar?" Maya's department. 2 hours later, Daniel walked into the marketing division. The floor went silent. Keyboards paused. Conversations died mid-sentence. He scanned the room. His eyes stopped at her. For a moment, everything else faded. There she was, Maya. Older, polished, confident, but the same eyes, the same pride. She didn't recognize him, not yet. Daniel turned to the department head. "I'd like to speak with your team, briefly." They gathered quickly. Maya joined last, distracted by her phone. Daniel cleared his throat. "Some of you already know we're restructuring. Many of you will rise. Some will be reassigned." A pause. Then his eyes met hers. She looked up, locked eyes with him, and her expression froze. Her breath caught. It hit her like a storm. The posture, the eyes, that quiet intensity, the rose, the rejection, the moment that never left her memory. Her lips parted slightly. "Daniel?" He said nothing. He didn't flinch, didn't nod. He simply turned to the papers in his hand. "Maya Ansari, step into my office." Whispers erupted behind her as she followed him. Inside the glass-walled CEO office, she stood still, clutching her folder like a shield. He gestured to the chair. She sat down, heart racing. For a long moment, silence. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. "So," he said finally, "how have you been?" Her voice shook. I didn't recognize you." "Most people don't, at first." She tried to laugh. "You've changed. Success tends to do that." A pause. She searched his face for warmth, for the boy who once stood with a rose in trembling hands. But he was gone. In his place stood a man who had walked through fire and returned with ice. "Daniel, He raised a hand. "This isn't personal. This is business." He slid a folder across the desk. Your position has been reassigned. You'll report to our Nairobi office starting next week." She stared at the paper, shocked, speechless. "You're transferring me?" "Yes." "Why?" His eyes locked onto hers. "Because some people are better at starting over, far from their past." She swallowed hard. "Are you doing this to punish me?" Another pause. Then he stood up. "I don't need to punish anyone, Maya. Life already took care of that." She blinked, and in that moment she saw it. The truth. She hadn't just rejected a poor boy 5 years ago. She had rejected a future she was never going to be part of. He turned away. "Close the door on your way out." She left in silence. Outside, she paused for a moment, the hallway spinning. Everything felt heavier now. And inside the office, Daniel stood at the window, watching the skyline. He didn't smile, but he finally felt something close to peace. Maya didn't speak to anyone that day. She went back to her desk, but the screen was a blur. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, frozen. Everything inside her, her thoughts, her pride, her past, was unraveling. She looked around the office she had worked so hard to rise in. The awards, the nameplate on her desk, the manager's chair, none of it mattered anymore, because the boy she had once humiliated, the one she thought would never make it, was now her boss. Worse than that, he had said nothing. No anger, no raised voice, no look at me now, just quiet control, powerful silence. That hurt more than any words could have. That evening, she stood in the elevator alone, staring at her reflection in the mirror-like doors. Mascara slightly smudged, lips trembling just a little. "Why didn't I see it?" she whispered. "Why didn't I believe in him?" But deep down, she already knew the answer. Because she had been blind. Blind to his heart, blind to his potential, blind to everything that couldn't be measured in status or money. 3 days later, Maya requested a private meeting. She knocked once on his office door, then stepped inside slowly. Daniel didn't look up. He was reviewing documents, focused, calm, like she wasn't even there. "I won't take much of your time," she said quietly. Still, he didn't look at her, so she continued. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not because I was transferred, not because I'm embarrassed, but because I was wrong." Finally, Daniel looked up. Their eyes met, not with anger, but with clarity. "I judged you," Maya said. "I thought I knew your worth based on your wallet, not your heart. I'm not asking for anything now. I needed you to know." A long silence followed. Then Daniel closed the folder in front of him. "Do you remember what you said that day?" he asked softly. She nodded slowly. "You told me I had nothing, no future, no worth." She lowered her eyes. "I know. You said I should stop dreaming, that it was embarrassing." Her lips trembled. "I was cruel." He leaned back in his chair, studying her. "You know what's funny?" he said. "Those words, they stayed with me. They didn't break me, but they became the reason I rebuilt myself." He stood up and walked to the window. "You were right about one thing. I didn't have anything back then. But you were wrong about what that meant." Maya wiped her eyes silently. "I don't want your forgiveness. I just hope maybe one day you'll remember me as someone who learned." Daniel turned slowly. "I already do." That moment felt like the real closure. No revenge, no drama. Just two people who had walked in different directions, finally meeting again at the edge of a decision they made long ago. Later that week, Maya packed her office. She didn't cry in front of anyone. She smiled, hugged her team, and left with her head held high, but her heart changed forever. As she exited the building, she turned back one last time. High above, in the CEO's office, the blinds were slightly open. She thought she saw him standing there, still, quiet, watching. And for the first time in years, she truly understood what she had lost. Not just a man, but a soul she didn't recognize when it was poor. That night, Daniel sat in silence in his office. He looked at an old photograph on his phone, grainy, badly lit, taken in college. He was standing outside the campus gate. In his hand, a single rose. He smiled quietly and whispered, "Thank you for breaking me. I never would have built this if you hadn't."
2 months passed since Maya left. The office had changed. New faces, new campaigns, new ideas. Business was thriving, but Daniel stayed distant. Not bitter, not angry, just quieter. He didn't celebrate victories the way others did. He didn't boast, because for him, this was never about wealth. It was about closure. And now, he had it. One quiet morning, Daniel arrived earlier than usual. The city skyline was still waking up, painted in soft orange light. He stepped into his corner office, placed his phone on the desk, and paused. There it was, a single white envelope, unmarked, resting on the chair. He opened it. It was a letter, handwritten. "Dear Daniel, I'm not sure if you'll read this, but I wanted to say what I didn't have the courage to say out loud. You didn't just prove me wrong, you taught me something I wish I had learned sooner. I judged people by their present, not their potential. I confused wealth with worth, and I let go of something I didn't understand until it was gone. You didn't humiliate me. You didn't take revenge. You did something far more powerful. You healed. And in doing so, you reminded me of what it means to truly grow. Wherever life takes us from here, I hope your story keeps inspiring others the way it changed me. Maya." Daniel held the letter for a moment, then folded it quietly, placed it in the drawer beside an old photo, a younger version of himself, holding a rose outside a university gate. He looked at the picture for a long time and smiled. That afternoon, he gave an interview, his first public appearance as the CEO of Local Bridge Global. Reporters asked the usual. How did you build this? What advice do you have for struggling entrepreneurs? Did you always know you'd be successful? But one young journalist asked something different. Was there ever a moment when you felt like giving up? Daniel paused, then replied slowly. Yes, I was heartbroken, rejected, told I'd never be good enough. I disappeared not to prove them wrong, but to prove myself right. The room fell silent. Success isn't about revenge. It's about becoming so complete, so at peace, that you no longer seek it. That night, Daniel walked through the same university courtyard where his journey began. He stopped at the exact spot where he once stood with a rose in hand. Empty now, quiet. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in years, he didn't feel pain. He felt gratitude. Cut to Maya, sitting in a quiet cafe reading an article on her phone. A headline, "From Rejection to CEO, Daniel Malik's Journey to Global Impact." She smiled, not bitterly, not sadly, just softly, because she knew. She had once broken something precious, but in doing so, she unknowingly helped build something immortal. Some people are sent into your life to test you, some to teach you, and some to break you so you can rebuild yourself into something they never saw coming. Camera pulls back, Daniel walking away into the city skyline. Fade to black, text on screen. She broke his heart because he was poor. Now his story inspires the world.